Good evening, everyone. My name is Akanksha Vichare, Assistant Editor of ACEUpdate magazine, and I welcome you all for this interaction session on evolving designs and technologies for sustainable construction. Against the backdrop of an increase in design consciousness of Indians, more and more people have realized the importance of interior design. And people are now aware of how an interior designer can help them organize and utilize spaces effectively without compromising the aesthetics. Customized products by various national and international designers and companies like IKEA have furthered the cause of beautifying interiors, and homes have now become synonymous with beautiful interiors. With this webinar, we will reach out to various architects and interior designers to understand the design and technologies in sustainable construction concept. Keeping this plan in mind, ACEUpdate is conducting an online session on evolving designs and technologies for sustainable construction. The distinguished speakers for today's interaction on evolving design and technologies for sustainable construction are Mr. Uttamaditya from UNI Interiors Private Limited, Mr. Santosh Kumar Sharma from Averox Design and Construction, Ms. Preeti Gupta from Preeti Gupta Architects, Mr. Akash Trivedi from Metro Redesigners, and Ms. Devika Khosla, Creative Director at The Works Art Interiors. So my first question to Mr. Uttamaditya: sustainability is much more than a jargon for our country today, right? So what practices can ensure demanding interior designs adhering to sustainability?
Basically, when people are thinking sustainability, for normal people, sustainability comes to their own life planning. So what happened is that when your purpose of life is you have defined in a more sustainable way. It's not changing, not like, constantly not deviating. It becomes more sustainable. So afterwards, whatever acquisitions or possessions you have becomes more sustainable. So I think I see the sustainability from the perspective of the choices.
Definitely, that makes sense for practicing professionals. Moving on to Ms. Preeti, ma'am, how can one complement contemporary materials and technologies in sustainable priority?
Sustainability in interior designing and architecture both has to be like we have to reuse and we have to use sustainable products. Okay, again, as Uttamji said, it depends upon the choices, and it really depends upon what kind of taste the client has. Okay, evolution towards sustainable architecture is something which is right now trending a lot. So I suggest to be more specific and more ideating towards this, we need to discuss more further. So let's move on to some other speaker and then continue further ahead.
Sure, ma'am. Moving on to Mr. Akash, how far are the technology innovations helping to meet your project deadlines?
So I would like to divide this question in two parts. Basically, one is the digital innovations that are going on, and second is the physical innovations I'll be talking about. So in digital innovations, till the late 2000s, the AutoCAD was not that much updated. So before that, the drawings were made out of hand and everything. So post AutoCAD, when it came into picture, the progress in the design field, it escalated, right? The second is WhatsApp. Everyone uses, right? The connectivity we have on WhatsApp, even if it's with the client or with our group of carpenters or the laborers or anyone in that case, has improved, and communication is the key, right? Third is the MSP I would like to quote, which is Microsoft Project. The monitoring, scheduling of the project became so easy and crisp that to the point, what are you doing, where are you lacking, right? Third is the physical tools and tackles which I was talking about. So imagine the situation in the late 1900s, in the mid of 2000s, where a carpenter was cutting a ply with a saw, right? And now we have a cutting machine. Within seconds we can cut and use everything. So I think this is how innovations have changed and have helped us to meet the deadlines. Yes,
you have mentioned very interesting facts, and definitely technology is touching every aspect of our life today, right?
Yes.
Moving on to Mr. Santosh, how does facades contribute to building aesthetics and energy efficiency?
Facade enhance the aesthetic appearance of the construction, but they are also functional and They are largely responsible for the protection, anti-rot and water resistance, because the facade is the outmost layer of the building, and it's cost efficiency for the commercial offices and residential buildings, that natural lights and all can be treated with the facade designing and facade elements, uses of local materials and glass facade and other things.
Thank you, Mr. Santosh. Ms. Devika, do innovations in design and technology uphold sustainability as a priority in India?
If we say it is a priority, not with everybody. No, I don't think, we at this point at time, for the world, for every being, we are at a very delicate junction of our lives. And like Uttamji, you have said that we have to make a life choice. Even Preeti has said the same thing. Akash said that we are using digital innovations, but we are talking about cities right now. But if you really look at India as such, our villages are sustainable, right? It is our cities which have gone the other way. We as a nation, we as a country were an extremely sustainable culture, but we have totally digressed. We've aped the West so much so that instead of going sustainable, we've gone in the opposite direction. And now we are trying to make a U-turn and come back. So priority-wise, I think it is the city dwellers who have to really, they have to look inward and see where are we headed? Are we making the right choices or not? And I think at this point in time, when people hire designers or architects or product designers, like all of you esteemed people on the panel, when they come to us, it then becomes our responsibility to educate them or to let them know that, by making such and such choice of the material, or by just doing a glass block in the building, you're not really going sustainable in any way. And so if you look at our country, most of us, city dwellers are a very, very small percentage, but we are making a bigger impact on the environment. So I think even tier 2, tier 3 cities have also gone and made some blunders copying the metros. And we all really need to step back and make right choices and integrate that in our way of working. It should start from us so that we can then educate our clients. Not that our clients are fools anymore. They are also doing massive research and coming to us. So it is every human being's responsibility to head into the right direction. Now, as far as our villagers and our villages are concerned, they were pretty sustainable in their approach. But again, because of sales-driven economy and these big giants coming in, we've gone and taught them absolutely reverse things that they were doing. So again, it's not just about architecture and design, it is about industrialization, about agriculture. Sustainability has to be looked into every facet of our being. So I hope that answers your first question, that we talk about sustainability very loosely. You look at Instagram ads, and every now and then everybody who wants to sell something to us, there's a tagline, sustainable approach. But that's where our research has to be really in-depth to find out, are they really sustainable or is it just hogwash talk? So there is a lot of work to be done as far as sustainability is concerned. We really need to wake up and work very, very hard towards it.
The second part of my question was, now that you have given us a deep insight, what is actually happening in the industry about sustainability. So let's see, what are your views if I ask you what comes in the way for us to attain outstanding sustainable construction?
Hindrance, I think, unfortunately, what has happened is that where cotton in our country was hand woven and, Mahatma Gandhi ji, he had bought in, cotton has become so expensive. So I think cost is the biggest hindrance. If we want to make a greenhouse or a LED, the LEED built home, they are more expensive than just making anything which is not sustainable. So I think cost factor is the biggest hindrance in our growth towards sustainability. I mean, I would love to hear everybody's point of view on this, since it's a debate. Preeti, don't you think, so many times, clients want to do some very interesting lighting or...
Yes. all these things just keep adding on to the budgets. And so we end up not making a fully sustainable house unless and until we are using completely eco-friendly material.
Eco-friendly material, right. Cane, like terracotta, something like that. Yes.
But then that doesn't go with, it also...
The class, the choice, for the client. The client is wanting something exclusive, classy, and we are trying to edit it to come down to the budget. And that is where we find it difficult, to come to that congregation that we need to, come at one meeting point.
Exactly. And like Akash, you mentioned very nicely about using digital. Of course, we are all dependent on so much of digital work that goes into our designs. But let's say we want to show something which a client cannot understand. They need a 3D, they need a VR. Now that again, if you want
that again is costly.
That
again is costly. So you have to be really equipped with your, hand sketches, immediate iPad sketching, and then just show it to them on the spot. Okay, this is what it is. This is how more or less it will look like. So adjust accordingly, because you'll have to pay a hefty amount for the 3D visualization or V-Ray. V-Ray is out of scope right now in India. Matlab, it's totally too out of the way for middle class income group.
Exactly.
But what we can offer is 3D designing. SketchUp, for example, doesn't really give you that picture of unless it is rendered in Lumio. So it's like this. So we are feeling a little scuffled with all these things and nitty-gritties. But I think we are trying to, just go ahead.
Unless we, start employing the architectural ideas that were there, where thicker walls, and we try and place our buildings in such a way that it takes into account the weather, the sun and everything. And so we have less glass, we have less of ACs.
Right.
But then these kind of structures have to be planned with government sanctions and everything. Again, if it's a private builder, the whole thing becomes extremely costly. So I would think that cost and the economy of doing all of this is the biggest hindrance.
Yes.
Right?
One funny perspective I have to add here is light. I had a friend who was living in India before. So we have designed his house, and we have used almost all sustainable materials, all green products and all. And when the house is ready, in next 4 months, he got a PR for Australia.
Oh.
So he moved with his family. It's been like almost 5 years. He has not visited back that house again. He has not rented. That house is just lying there. His parents comes once in a quarter and just clean and go back to their natives. So basically, when the life is not designed or not thoroughly thought, it is the first foundation. So how much people are clear and aligned in the choices which they are making, Otherwise, despite of all the best possible materials, you have created that sustainability, but it is not aligned with your life, So when that decision get changed, now the whole green product is being unused. It is lying there. So it is the true purpose of the sustainability
is defeated.
I would like to add.
That is the reason I think as a designer, it is first responsibility that for the purpose which they are planning, if they are aligned and can define their life purpose, and if they understand that the choices which I make, is it the real choices or it is still I need to think about it, So until unless, so if you are any possessions or acquisitions, if it is permanent, if it is going to be sustainable, the choice is sustainable, then you will make other choices also accordingly, So
I would like to add on this, like sustainability and budget. Everything goes hand in hand. Okay, space utilization, sustainability, and budget interiors, or budget architecture for that matter. Everything. Now, budget, it has to be decided on one single point. Whether you are going to utilize this space for 3 to 5 years, or you are going to extend for a lifetime, like 10 or plus 15 years or plus. So if you come to that point, the client is very clear about this idea that, okay, I want this house for 3 to 5 years. I do not know what's going to happen after 5 years. Then we come to a point, then don't spend so much. As designers, we can suggest, don't spend so much. Just go to a particular thing, like, go easy on the panels. Go just have a movable furniture kind of a thing, which you can easily sell off or, easily get rid of, something like that. Do not have fixed furnitures when you are for 3 to 5 years. Have potted plants, have wallpapers, something like that. Instead of going in for fixed paneling, fixed another ideas, ideating and using all the materials you have in the market and just exploding his budget. Okay. Like usually nowadays, this is a trend going on where interior designers really don't think about the client's hard-earned money. They're just bothered about how to create the impact by using the different materials. The vendors will come to your office and sell it to you. So I believe first thing is to decide on the time tenure, basically in like 3 to 5 years or 15 plus years, and then only I think you can take a real call as in what exactly you're going to offer the client. This is how a real designer should go ahead with. This is what I feel.
So we were doing a project in Valsad in Dharampur. That was a 250-bed hospital we were doing. So there this subject came that the sustainable product for the interior they were looking, which has to be antibacterial, antifungal at the same time, since it was the hospital which incorporates an ICU, PICU. So when we came to the table to discuss the material, we got the information about these recyclable Impro rigid PVC sheets, which were recyclable, right? So the life of the sheets were 15 to 20 years if untouched, right? So when we were discussing the budget for same, the cost was around 250 per square feet, right? Whereas if we are doing gypsum, an antibacterial paint was costing around 50 rupees per square feet. So the huge difference made us to go back step, and we were not able to do that, though we wanted to go in a sustainable manner to use that recycled plastic, that rigid sheets, but due to this constraint, I think this topic is very new for us to explore now. It's just been 40 years that the sustainable development word has came into existence in at the international level. So still I think we are progressing, and it has to be cost effective at the same time. So I think there's a long way that we'll be improvising in this field. Yes, over to you.
Mr. Santosh, would you like to share your views?
So my topic was sustainable technology. So sustainable technology is an umbrella. The term describes that consider natural resource and foster economical and social development. The goal of this technology is to drastically reduce environmental and ecological risk and create a sustainable product. So sustainable product technology can be defined a few ways: substitution and prevention. The technology fosters a shift from non-biodegradable and to the biodegradable materials production. It also replaces non-renewable with renewable resources. The sustainable technology prevents deterioration, contamination, and the other negative environment effect that its use of our production. So that is my view for that.
Thank you, panelists, for exchanging your valuable thoughts on today's topic, evolving design and technologies for sustainable construction. We hope you have enjoyed it. Before wrapping up today's session, we would like to thank our distinguished panelists, Mr. Santosh, Mr. Akash, Ms. Preeti, Mr. Uttamaditya, and Ms. Devika. For viewers who have joined us today, we would like your feedback and encourage you to stay connected with us via our social media handles. ACEUpdate is available on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also download our app from Google Play and the App Store. We also request our viewers to stay tuned for future interactions. Today's interaction has now come to a close. Thank you and goodbye.